there, everyone. This is Jennifer Hough, and it's Agents of Awakening again. Look, the sun is coming up. We're awakening. So listen, you guys, Agents of Awakening is about people all over the world that know that something else is possible for humanity. It's kind of like we're done with listening to leaders or listening to people who say that they're helping. It's just like we could do it. We could do it together. We don't have to wait. Anyone can make a change. And if there was ever anyone who exemplified that in my life, it would be Mr. Gary Stuart, who is just one of the most generous humans really I've ever met. Honestly, I think I speak the truth when I say he's probably one of the most generous humans I've ever met. And he's been through a lot. So to remain open-hearted and giving and incredibly generous the way he's been, it's just so touching, knowing quite a bit about his history. As an author, he teaches programs and helping people transcend their past. He's a very talented speaker, but that's not why he's here. He's here because he's just an extraordinary human being who never endingly, in my experience, is always figuring out a way that he can give, both in his business, but also in real life. And I just want to welcome you, my dear friend, Gary, to this particular conversation.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Jennifer. It's always an honor and pleasure.
So, Gary, Agents of Awakening is really about not taking it upon ourselves like a burden, but more like I get to actually make a difference in the world. Where did you get that from? Where did that come from?
I think growing up in the 60s, there was a big social consciousness movement. I mean, I was probably about 10 or 11 years old when Martin Luther King was killed, and then 12 or 13 when JFK was killed. So it was the assassination of the week or a rock star overdose, whether it was Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Brian Jones. So it was like all this death and turmoil with the Vietnam War. And I just was very socially active. And of course, I was living in Cambridge, Massachusetts, the hotbed of Harvard University and the counterculture.
Yes.
And so, of course, I was like, brewing with all the other baby boomers there to socially activate against apartheid, sexism, racism, you name it. So it's pretty much the fabric of my being since I've been about 16 or 17 years old.
Wow. And so, okay, I'm going to put you on the spot here. I'm going to ask you a question that I don't even know the answer to because we haven't talked about it. But what's the first time you remember actually organizing something to give back to others that you may not even know?
First time organizing. I would say marching in Harvard Square. Every Saturday there was a protest, excuse me, whether it was against apartheid. And we were all just out there, feet in the street, making our presence heard with people speaking along the Charles River. And it was an exciting time because there was lots of tumultuous change happening. And to the point of Harvard University divesting from South Africa to do financial battle against apartheid, and everyone pressuring here, one of the biggest universities, to stop, whether it was divesting in oil, fossil fuels, apartheid, equal rights for women, sexism.
You signed me up. I'm there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It just
whatever feels more fair, I count me
Exactly. Yeah.
So Gary, we were talking about, and one of the points of Agents of Awakening is to feature people who are doing good for no reason. It's not about the money. It's not about the fame.
Exactly.
It's not about any of that stuff, and that anyone can. So can you, I mean, we're all special, but are you so special that you're not like anybody else? I mean, how do you feel about the possibility of most people being able to do something, anything?
Oh, absolutely. And what's kind of scary to me these days is how brainwashed everyone is into thinking they're powerless. And no one really is powerless at all. But if we think that, then we're victims of media, we're victims of government, we're victims of all the other forces that want us to be victims, really.
Yeah.
But I've always thought, a lot of people think outside the box. I think there is no box unless you put one there. So I've always been contrarian in nature, going against the grain, against the popular culture, even if it
No,
seems to
not
be,
you.
I know. Even if it
No.
seems to be right, there's always something bigger that needs to be addressed.
So you're all about a boxless culture. I love that.
Exactly. And the underdog. I've studied Chinese Tao a lot, and one of the constants of the universe is the underdog always wins. And it's those scrappy little people who go against the grain. I call it kind of the Columbus thing. Everyone, the world is flat. You're going to die. You're going to die. You're going to go off the edge of the world and die. Then he comes back with spices and stories. Oh, the world is round. The world is round. Ha, ha, ha. How stupid were we? Like in a nanosecond, the whole world. So that's my Columbus theory.
You know what's really, really interesting? It's like, I'm going to create a new hot hashtag called boxlessness.
Yeah.
Boxlessness, the boxless universe. So
exactly.
I love that, Gary. So the next question that presents, as you were just talking, I was listening to you, and I'm like, okay, wait a second. I want to ask this question too. So what are your I'm going to tell you mine, but what are your favorite things that people have done lately that are really, really kind of just creatively contributional? I'm going to share with you mine. My favorite one is this little girl who started the trend of saying thank you to frontline workers and to people walking by, because we couldn't, we're not getting together so much anymore. And she wrote thank you and I love you at the end of her driveway with chalk. And now I see so many people doing stuff like that, putting signs in their windows saying, it doesn't even matter what the catalyst is for doing this, but we can do this together, whatever. I just love how people got creative about putting signs on their driveway and in their windows, and it all started with this little girl. So that's one of my faves. What about you?
Well, I think people donating their time and energy to food banks and everything, which is pretty horrific with the food insecurity that's showing up in America, of all places. But so I think people that are going out there and serving the food to the cars, even though they're just driving up and getting bags of groceries or whatever, I just think that's so admirable out here in the desert. I know it happens weekly. And that people are taking care of each other, not waiting for, the government to do it or to install a new program that, doesn't work. And my heart goes out to all those people supporting other people in need.
Yes, indeed. I just had our neighbors go and do that for the food bank just the other day. So Gary, the last thing is I wanted to, brag on my friend, you, namely. And so, and you, my friend, I saw a couple of months ago, you did this beautiful project whereby you created all sorts of stuff to put up for auction to raise money. Well, actually, I'll let you share. So what did you do there? And again, it's, anyone can do this. I just want you to listen to Gary, like anyone could do this. So Gary, can you share what you did?
Yeah.
So cool.
Well, I just decided I put art on the back burner my entire life since I was about 17 or whatever, because I got so busy with everything else in life. And I really decided I wanted to make an impact. And I was at an art show, I think in October, or whatever. He said, oh, the next one coming up in March is The Power of Words. I said, well, I've been working on this idea. I have the sketchbook. He said, if it's anything like what you're talking about, I want you to enter. So mine was justice, injustice, racism. And this is long before George Floyd, because I've been very sensitive to the issue. And so what I did is I painted, I'm not a great painter yet, but I did silhouettes of Black and brown people, children, all people that have been shot. And then I had Googled all the unsolved cases of all the people who were killed and they never filed charges to the police. I splattered that with red paint all over the walls. And I had an American flag with a police hat and it looked like a Luger, but it was just a BB gun with whites only on the American flag pointing at the people of color. And I won first place for strongest statement. And people were really, and I like to make things multidimensional. If I get any famous artist, I have a lot of other ideas cooking. It's participatory. So every white person that walked in, he gave me my own private room where
Yes.
we set up the whole thing with caution tape and danger tape
Yeah.
everywhere, you know? And every white person that went in, I put a neon target on their heart. And I
Wow.
said, this is what a person with color lives with on them every day they walk the street. They said, I'm
Wow.
really uncomfortable with this and blah, blah. I said, well, that's called white privilege. You don't get to live in fear. You're going to be shot in the chest by going to the grocery store, you know, or just walking
Wow, Gary.
while black. So it really was, people were kind of shocked, and they really liked that it wasn't just to see it, it was to walk into that room and experience what a person of color may feel like being and oh, the actual title of that piece was called Target Practice.
Wow, Gary.
That was the
Talk
title of
about
the piece.
giving people the experience. So creative.
Yeah.
Good for
And
you.
I love winning first place, and the money, $500 first place, first art show. So I was very excited. And
Yeah.
I donate all the money to Southern Poverty Law Center, because they're one of the only organizations in America that tracks homophobia, racism, sexism, and hatred, and documents where, what cities, the names of the groups. So it's not this nebulous thing. They really bring some specificity to it. So it's not just like, oh, there's hate groups out there. Yes, they're in Fresno. Yes, they're neo-Nazis in Los Angeles. Yes, this is the neo-Nazi name in Boise, Idaho. They actually give you the names of the organizations that are doing, let's say, the business of hatred. So they need to be tracked and looked at, because if no one's watching, they'll get away with murder, literally. And
Well,
how many?
we'll put the link in our interview, Gary, too, for sure.
Yeah.
So if people want to donate, that's fantastic. And Gary, I you know, that takes courage. That takes courage, a lot of courage.
Yeah.
And there's probably, everyone is listening right now, some cause or some injustice or some inspiring aspect of humanity you want to expand upon that speaks to your heart, that actually speaks to it enough that it would call forth the amount of courage it would take to do something. So remember, an agent of awakening isn't someone that just talks about it or posts about it or shares another post. An agent of awakening is someone who actually bees about it. They really be about it. It's the way they be in the world. And that beingness actually catalyzes some kind of doing it. And so if you find someone in your life that you think is doing incredible things in the world, please be an agent of awakening reporter and interview them and find out why and what inspires them, and ask them questions, and then post that. Tell us what they did and post it on Agents of Awakening.
Yeah.
And if you yourself have done something that you think is a really cool, nifty idea that everyone could do, take a picture of it and post it on Agents of Awakening too. Let's have good go viral. And remember, the hashtag is good gone viral. Go figure. So, so anyways, guys, or hashtag Agents of Awakening, or do them all. Or apparently now we have a hashtag called boxlessness. Thank you, Gary Stuart.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
The contribution. So everyone, this is this week. And so remember, your homework for today is find someone online or find someone of your one of your friends and interview them, or find a post of someone that you think is so inspiring and share it here on Agents of Awakening. And let's really co-create the world we want without waiting for anyone else to do it. We really are the ones. We're all in this together. There is nobody else. Any final words, Gary, for everybody?
It's all about a love of change. The universe is predicated on change. So it's no one owns it. We all share consciousness, and let's use that power to expand.
Awesome, my friend. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of Agents
My
of Awakening.
pleasure.
You are such a force of nature, my friend.
Mm.
So big hugs, lots of love to everybody. To all. And we'll talk to you all tomorrow.
Great. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.